Okay. It's Jabria, the Bright Queen, and I had already started recording this message, but then when I mentioned something, it just threw the whole thing off. So I was like, okay, I won't do anything. But then I was sitting here again, and these kittens that live in my backyard with their mom, one of them came and like knocked on the back door. So I'm like, okay, there is a message, but they're being very particular. It's 10:55 now about keeping certain things private and keeping certain things sacred. And I was just listening to this video where this lady was saying the same thing. There's like, I woke up with this like skin irritation over here on my cheek, which is weird. But I always say these skin irritations, especially on my face, tend to happen when I'm undergoing like a huge upgrade, is what I'll say for lack of better terms. But the cards I was getting to describe today, it's baby Jabria there. The cards I was getting to describe today were the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Cups. I don't want to say things in a way that's like repetitive, but the message has been repetitive. Also, not at the same time. It's funny how the same sentence or the same phrases can have different meanings as time moves around. But what I'm getting with the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Cups is like what happens when you put fire and water together. It boils, creates a boiling point. And what is water boiling? It's changing from one state to another. It's changing from a liquid to a gas. And that's what's happening now, is your reality, our reality is changing states. What also is boiling? Boiling can be used to cook. It can be used to sterilize, which cooking and sterilization can be the same thing. It can burn you. Boiling water looks very pretty sometimes. Like if you don't know that it's hot, like, or from previous experience, you can mistake it for like a bubbling brook. You know how water can like bubble in like little streams and stuff. So you're coming into this changing states, this transitional period, not only like with the proper elements or proper conditions or ingredients, but also with previous knowledge. Because like I said, you'd have to know that boiling water is hot. Like if you were a kid looking at the bubbling effect, you might be like, oh, this looks fun, put my hand in there. So this is for if you're watching this, it's because you have passed certain points, you've had certain lessons, and you've done really well in them. I was in my bed the other day and I was like, okay, let me just take this little moment here to connect in. And as soon as I did that, I felt like my guides touching my arm. Like they were right there. And the message I heard and I felt was, you're doing so great. We are so proud of you. And it was funny because I felt like a little guilty because I haven't been doing like the things I used to do. I was gonna say like more meditative stuff, but I have. It's just been different. It's been less isolated. The spiritual care that I've been doing for myself, and it was that quick confirmation of like, no, we're like right here. You're not tapped out. Something else I want to mention is I turned on Hulu, and the first thing I saw was the 800th Simpsons episode. And that number 8 is huge. It's right before the 9, and I was just talking about the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Cups. The 8, and I'm hearing like I ate that, to consume something, but also to be like become something. I'm getting imagery in my head of this movie that I watched called Flipped on Netflix recently, and there was a snake, and it opened its mouth like wide enough. I don't know if this is the proper terminology. I'm gonna say it disconnected its jaw in order to swallow an egg whole, and then in the inside it cracked the egg and then spit out the shell. And I was thinking, I was like, why doesn't it just like make a little hole and then just drink, the liquid from the shell that way? But then I was like, it wouldn't be super efficient in terms of nutrients. The most nutrients possible would be if the snake did exactly what it did, which was swallowing the egg whole. And this reminds me of the number 8. The year 2024 might be important because that was a 8 year. But in this episode, it was basically like a lot of reference to the 90s. In this 800th episode, it was referencing the 90s. It was about the 90s a lot. They referenced Dawson's Creek, which I don't really know much about that show, besides it's about a bunch of teenagers. But it was about like the 90s clothing that were trending, about DVDs, things like that, how DVDs didn't have advertisements in them, and you could just like press play. Excuse me. And basically a big idea was like, there's nothing new under the sun from the past. I wonder if I could just show you this kitten at the door. I know that's what it is. It's this little kitten that's at the door that's like hitting at because we have this little mosquito net, and they like to like play on the little net and like jump on it. But anyways, I had a dream the night before last where I was in college/high school, and my room number that I had to go to for class was room 888, and I kept getting lost. I couldn't find it, and then I asked these black girls for help. I thought that was interesting because usually I don't see girls like that in my dreams. My dreams are a lot about my family usually, but they were these strangers and these girls younger than me. And I was like, where's room 888? And they told me exactly where to go. And I got there kind of late. And I remember when I sat down at my desk, the table of my desk was like this big. It was very short in width. Like it wasn't big enough for me to put my notebook on. It was as if I was supposed to be there to listen and to observe and not to record. It was very interesting. Now that I think about it, it's almost like I was a ghost in this building and I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. But these groups of girls, this little group of girls, I think it was like 3 of them, could see me, and they showed me like where to go. And that's what makes sense, because when I got there, like my desk wasn't made for me to be a student. It was made for me to be an observer, to learn something without recording it down. And I think this is where it goes back to what I was saying about, I'm hearing privacy, about privacy and keeping certain things close to the chest. And even that phrasing there, like close the chest, close the chest. The chest is a place where you keep valuables, where you keep a small fortune. Close the chest. Um, so going back to the Nine of Wands versus the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Wands, I heard someone say, I think it was Talara, that the Nine of Wands kind of represents the wounded healer. And then to me, my go-to phrasing for the Nine of Cups is complete wish fulfillment. But if I'm not mistaken, which I could be, in the Muse Tarot deck by Chris Ann, this is what I'm seeing, is someone in this like crisscross applesauce, eyes closed, meditative state with the Nine of Cups. So from this perspective and how I'm getting it downloaded into my brain now, to my body now, is the cups represent accessing heaven from outside of it. It's accessing heaven within through the waters of knowledge, or knowledge is in the water, information is in water. And so it's like this transitional state going from the Nine of Wands, which is someone that's been working hard in the material, you know, even if it is like spiritual work in the material, like, I don't know, like getting candles or getting sage or whatever it is that you're doing, or, you know, salt and these things like that, tarot cards. It's switching from this like more like exhaustive, more physical stuff, even though it is wands and not pentacles, and going into the internal state to see clearly and to access what's without, what's on the outside, within. So going back to that transitional state, that changing of states from the liquid to the solid, which is what happens again when you combine fire and water energy. What's something we can say about a liquid versus a gas? A liquid is much more limited in terms of space. Like, even if you spill a pot of water on a floor, it's going to spread, but it's only going to spread so far. But if you release a gas into a space, it's going to completely travel throughout the entirety of the space. And so this is also the message. What is happening with you right now, this transition, you're becoming limitless. You're going further towards your natural state, or you're going closer to your natural state of limitlessness, being able to fully occupy a space, expanding yourself. So I'm hearing, don't be surprised if now it's easier for you to have clear cognizance, which is clear knowing, which is psychic knowing. Don't be surprised if you're able to see things that other people cannot see. Once again, I think I had this before, where I'm seeing someone in a window. Yeah, I mentioned this, I think, in one of my videos I did recently, where I was like, you see something real quick, and then you like tell the person next to you, like, hey, did you see that? And they're going to be like, no, you know, or I don't know, maybe they might be like, yeah. And then like the next moment you can't see it. It's like, you're getting closer to your limitlessness that exists naturally at your at your soul's clear signature. I don't know, they were wanting me to word that very interestingly. I'm hearing now with how I was just speaking, don't be surprised if you're watching something or hearing a conversation, or if you read a word in a different language that you don't know, but you know what it is, that could also be something. Like if you're hearing a conversation and you know what they're saying, even if it's in a different language, and you can even get ahead of this and start working on this yourself by doing little things, testing yourself. I personally have been doing it with Sudoku. Um, I've been just using my gifts to see where the number is supposed to go versus my logical mind of how I've been taught to think to figure things out. The way it works for me personally, as I've said before, my strongest gifts would be like claircognizance, but I have really strong clairaudience. I can hear things very well, and I can hear the little numbers in the box chattering, like they'll be chatting. That's how I hear it. Like the number 3 will go in a specific place, and I'll hear it like chatting in that box, and that's how I know, okay, 3 goes here. And I've been working on fine tuning the noise versus the chatter. So that's an example of something that you could do. I think I'm nearing about the end. It's 11:10 right now, 1110. And as I said that, now it's 1111. So lots of doors opening, lots of going through doors. If you've been seeing doors in your dreams and visions, this is all representative of that transitioning from one state of being to another. And I'm hearing that like the gas is able to fully occupy a space as it, it rapidly expands into a space. Your life is going to feel full. Let me fix that. Your life is feeling full in a way that you never even dare dream possible. Like every fucking area of your life is feeling like satisfied, fully filled, fully satisfied life. And you're not gonna believe it. And I feel like what you're gonna believe even less with Hulu, it just got out from like the accessing the content, and now it's popped back on the who's watching, and my name is highlighted just as I said that. What's gonna blow your mind is how little effort it's requiring from you. Jabria in this box of green. How little effort. And this is the last thing I'm gonna leave it at, because I'm feeling to say this too. Oh, look at the timer. Maybe that's all I need to share. Hold on. So, what I was gonna say is how little effort is that the weekend before last, I went and got brunch with a friend of mine, and she mentioned that she wanted a macaroon. She was like, I'm gonna get a macaroon on the way out. They look good. After I got my order and I put in my number for the points, I got a message saying I got 1 free macaroon. And I was like, what are the odds? And I was telling her, like, look, it's meant to be. Like, I can get you this free macaroon. And mind you, I love macaroons. Mind you, I haven't had one in forever. But immediately I was like, I saw the connection. I saw that she had herself called this into existence. And it didn't even occur to me to have it for myself. I immediately obeyed and allowed the flow for her, even if it was through me. Yesterday, I had a macaroon, and it was the same flavor, if I'm not mistaken, which is vanilla, that my friend ordered. And as I was eating it, I was like, holy shit, like, this is the macaroon I gave her, because it was from the same place. Someone got me that same macaroon and 2 cake pops and 2 desserts and a boxes of Girl Scout cookies, another brownie, like all these desserts that I love, most of them from that same place. Like this recent weekend, like a week later, it's like because I allowed that flow, it brought in so much more like flow back to me. And this message is for you. I know you've been seeing the ease that is now being allowed to escape back home to you. And I want you to know that I have tough times. January was hard for me. It was so hard for me. I literally like gave up like so many times in January, especially towards the end. I was like, I don't have anything else to give. I just feel hopeless. Like I just feel like I've been pushing and trying and nothing is working out for me. And it was really like someone that's close to me was the reason that I was able to go through those energies, you know, somewhat decently, you know. So I want you to know, like, you're not alone. But I know for sure, you've seen something, you've felt something, you've known something. And it's more than just returning. It's a homecoming. I'm gonna leave it at that. I love you. This is Jabria, the Bright Queen, Queen Sensitivity. Give this video a like if you're still watching this. Give a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And I want to say thank you so much to everyone who has been watching my videos, being patient with themselves and loving themselves, feeling inspired and supporting me in whichever capacity that means for you, you know. Thank you. All right, see you soon.